right, so the Lions got a game on Thursday. I kind of forgot we had another Thursday game that wasn't a Thanksgiving or a Thursday night game. As it's another Thursday holiday game, as the Lions, I believe for the first time ever, correct me if I'm wrong, are playing on Christmas, and it's a divisional matchup against the Minnesota Vikings on Christmas Day in Minnesota on Netflix. Since, oh yeah, all the Christmas games this year are on streaming platforms. And of course, this is, the big deck measuring contest between the NFL and the NBA on Christmas, as the NFL is hell-bent on destroying the NBA. Like, I don't know what the fuck the NBA did to piss the NFL off so much. I don't know if the NFL took, the NBA took the NFL's prom date back in high school, or if there's some major beef between Roger Goodell and Adam Silver, which that last one wouldn't be surprising because, you know, rich people tend to have beef with each other. In this case, the NBA rich person is a bald rich guy. While the NFL's commissioner is a bald ginger. I mean, it's a rich ginger, my bad. No, he's not bald yet. We're not at that point yet. But yeah, I don't know what the hell was the deal between the NFL and the NBA, but the NFL's out for blood on the NBA. And yeah, it's time for Christmas against the Vikings. Of course, this was honestly, a lot of the Christmas games kind of sucked this year. Like, I think the NFL thought this was going to be a lot better matchup when they first announced this back in, like, May. And, yeah, it did not go as well as corner playing. Well, I mean, it's hard to really tell what everybody's going to be 7 months in advance. Because the NFL can change in a landscape in a week just like that. Momentum can change like that. But, yeah, anyway, to the game itself, though. So for this game, the points line has Detroit favored in this game by 7.5. Minnesota, they lead the all-time series 81-45-2. Detroit has won 5 of the last 6 against Minnesota. Of course, Minnesota won the meeting over Detroit earlier this year at Ford Field. Less said about that, the better. And honestly, that game is most likely what's going to cost Detroit a playoff spot. And I flat out said after that Week 9 game when Detroit beat themselves against the Vikings that game was going to come back to haunt Detroit. So, of course, Detroit this year, they're 3-4 on the road this year. Minnesota is 2-4 at home. And, of course, Detroit's last 2 games of the regular season are on the road. Last Sunday was Detroit's last home game of the regular season. Actually, most likely their last home game of the year, since Detroit's out of NFC North title contention, which means we will have a brand new NFC North champion, probably the Chicago Bears, cause fucking kill me, god damn it. Like, seriously, we literally let Chicago pretty much back their way into it, god damn it. So, of course, in terms of the key players on the Minnesota Vikings, I already went over this in Week 9, so just go back to that preview one, know it there. We'll go over the key injuries in this game. Of course, the big one that's already been announced is the J.J. McCarthy will not be playing for the Vikings this Thursday after he suffered that hand injury last week against the Giants in the Tank Bowl. So it'll be Max Brosmer getting the start for the Minnesota Vikings, which that's a choice, considering that his NFL debut was pretty fucking bad. But yeah, and of course, in terms of other key injury notes on the injury report, Aaron Jones, he's questionable for this game with an ankle injury. TJ Hawkinson is questionable for this game with a shoulder injury. Somehow, Viking fans will try and blame Kirby Joseph for that one, even though Kirby hasn't played a game since goddamn October and he's done for the year. Also, Javon Hargrave's questionable with a thigh injury. If the Vikings don't have Javon Hargrave for Thursday, that will be a big loss for that D-line. The Vikings don't have Jonathan Greenard. He's on the IR with a shoulder injury. Same deal with Josh Metellus. He's on the IR with a shoulder injury. No changes to the coaching staff. So, of course, the Vikings offense, it's currently the 28th ranked offense in the league. They're 28th in the pass game, 25th in the run game. So, So their offense has been very inconsistent this year. Well, but the Vikings defense has not been, as the Vikings defense is pretty solid. They're a top 5 defensive unit ranked 4th. So the defense has been carrying a lot of the load for the Vikings this year. As the Vikings, they're a number 3 defense against the pass, but this defense's big kink in the armor is the run game, as they've struggled stopping the run, as they're a 24th ranked defense against the run. So obviously the keys to winning this game obviously is running the ball. Obviously you gotta feed the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, especially Montgomery. David Montgomery needs to be more involved in the game. Like, honestly, him only having 18 touches last week was unacceptable. Like, he needs to be more involved in it, say, with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, honestly, there are a lot of downs last week that I think David Montgomery could have helped us in short yard situations that the Lions couldn't get it done in. I think Montgomery could have done it there if we got him more involved. But I think doing that, too, I think getting pressure to Max Brosmer is going to be crucial, too. You know, trying to force him to make more turnovers. You know, winning that turnover battle is going to be crucial. You know, and also got to find a way to shut down Justin Jefferson, because we know what kind of damage Jefferson can do. I mean, he's one of the most talented wideouts in the league. And let's be honest, though, even though the Lions should win this game, though, we cannot take the Vikings lightly. Even though, yes, the Vikings are eliminated from playoff contention, you can never take an eliminated team lightly. You can never underestimate an eliminated team. Because usually the eliminated teams are some of the hardest and most dangerous teams to play. Because keep this in mind, Thursday afternoon on Christmas, the Lions still have everything to lose since they're still out mathematically alive for a playoff spot. Even though the chances are very slim at 16%, pretty much the Lions need to win out and Green Bay needs to lose out to make it in. Even though the Lions' chances are very slim and hanging on by a thread, a chance is still a chance no matter how small it is. So, yeah, Detroit still has everything to lose, whether you agree with that or not. And that is the case and the truth until they're officially eliminated. While the Vikings, they have nothing to lose coming into this game. And a team with nothing to lose is very dangerous. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Lions beat themselves against the Vikings, because they underestimated themselves against Minnesota, and it came back to cost them. And I flat out said losing games like that is what will cost you a playoff spot. And look where the Lions are right now, because if the Lions actually won that game in Week 9 like they should have, the Lions would currently be in a playoff spot by half a game and controlling their own destiny. Like, that's how much one game can make a difference this season. Because if the Lions handled their business against the Vikings in Week 9 and didn't beat themselves, Detroit would currently be in the playoffs right now, controlling their own destiny. Or actually, they'd be half a game out. My bad, they'd be half a game out, but they'd have a more realistic shot at making it in. Where they wouldn't have to rely on winning out and then losing out. And Green Bay losing out to make it in. But yeah, still, you know, like honestly, I know there are some fans that are out there wanting the Lions to tank. Yes, that crowd is officially back, but not for the reasons you think. Because this crowd I've been watching and seeing, they don't want the Lions to tank for a draft position. They want the Lions to lose on purpose and finish last in the division just to have an easier schedule next year. Because I forgot to mention, the loser of this game effectively finishes in last place in the North this season. Because if Detroit wins, then Minnesota's guaranteed to finish last in the North. If Minnesota wins, then Detroit's most likely finishing last in the North, since that would give Minnesota a head-to-head tiebreaker. Because right now, as the schedule stands right now for next year, the 3 TBD opponents for the Lions would currently be the LA Rams, the Indianapolis Colts, and I want to say the Washington Commanders. If the Lions finish last, then those 3 TBD opponents change to the Arizona Cardinals, Tennessee Titans, and the New York Giants. And I know why some people want the easier schedule, because a lot of people see 3 easy wins right there with Tennessee, the Giants, and Cardinals. Here's the thing, though. There's no guarantees next year that those 3 teams are going to be dog shit next year. Especially when most likely all 3 are going to undergo head coaching changes, because I think Arizona's firing Jonathan Gannon. I think they'd be pretty stupid to bring him back for a 4th year when Gannon's done fucking nothing in Arizona so far. Like, there's no guarantees, like everything can change in the 1 year in the league. Everything changes year by year. I mean, just look at this year. The last year, the Lions were the 1 seeded 15-2. Vikings were 14-3. Keep in mind, last year, these 2 teams, Lions and Vikings, combined to win 29 games last year. 2 of the top teams in the NFC. Although the Vikings were the first team to win 14 games and not win their division last year. And look at both of them. Most likely, both of them are now going to miss the playoffs entirely. Most likely. Hell, look at the Chiefs last year. 15-2 were in the Super Bowl last year. This year, they're not even going to be in the dance. And they're most likely finishing with a losing record. That's just how much 1 year changes everything in this league. Hell, look at Chicago last year. The Bears were fucking dog shit last year. And this year, they're currently the number 2 seed and in the playoffs and most likely winning the North this year. There's no guarantees. Honestly, I'm fucking tired of this schedule shit. Because there's no guarantees. We don't know, because the teams we see this year, they're not going to be the same teams next year. Hell, the Vikings next year, they're going to be a whole different team next year than what they are this year. Same deal with the Lions, same deal with everybody in the damn league. Honestly, the tanking crowd, always, whether it's for draft position or now for a better schedule, easier schedule, you all sound like a bunch of fucking retards when you do this shit. And honestly, I don't know why you all want to start the tanking stuff right now, since, the NBA is starting to crack down on that shit. Which, honestly, thank fucking God. Honestly, they should have done that years ago, cracking down on tanking. NFL needs to start following suit too, but they probably won't unless they put a fucking draft lottery in. Which that may not come till the next CBA deal. I mean, we all know the NFL deep down wants to put a draft lottery in. They're just waiting for the right moment to strike. But yeah. Honestly, though, of course, Detroit, they're facing elimination this week. As Detroit, of course, they're out if they lose this game. They could also win this game and still get eliminated this week if Green Bay wins Saturday against Baltimore. Honestly, I think it's already accepted Detroit's not making the playoffs. Detroit had a chance and they blew it last week against the Steelers. Honestly, it's just finished the year strong and have some possible momentum going into the offseason. But even if the Lions win and get a winning record for the 4th year in a row, all I say is winning records don't mean shit if you don't make the playoffs. I'll be honest, I think the Lions will win this game. I think the Lions are going to be motivated to get it done, especially on Christmas. I think especially a lot of boys are going to be pissed off about playing on Christmas, especially Penei Sewell. And listen, you can all bitch and complain about playing on Christmas all you want. NFL on Christmas is here to stay. I mean, they crushed the NBA in the ratings last week, and last year, and they're most likely going to do it again this year. I mean, with Braun and his fucking retarded bronzexuals, they can go and cry and complain and say that Christmas is the NBA's holiday all they want. We all know Christmas is no longer the NBA's holiday. It's become the NFL's. Hey, listen, we all complain about the Christmas games because they're all going to suck this year with Dallas, Washington, a Christmas tank bowl. Then you got Detroit, Minnesota, and then you got Denver, Kansas City. You can all complain about how much the games suck all you want. Reality is everyone's going to be watching those 3 games because we're all fucking addicted to football because football's that much king in this country. But anyway, for this game, though, I think the Lions are going to be motivated after what happened last week with that ending. Even though they kind of put themselves in that situation. Let's be honest, I'm not surprised the players aren't blaming the refs for what happened and taking responsibility for themselves. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see players blame the refs ever again after Puka Nacua got penalized for running his fucking mouth last Thursday over the questionable ref ball in the Seahawks-Rams game last week when Puka Nacua went off on Twitter not even like 5 minutes after the game ended, and then got slapped with a $25,000 fine for actions detrimental to football. Yes, at this point where the NFL has gone full NASCAR. Never go full NASCAR. But yeah. But anyway, let's go get this win against the Vikings. Let's finish the year strong. Let's make sure let's guarantee the Vikings finish last in the North. Let's go get this dub on Christmas in the black uniforms in the Minnesota's whiteout game. As the Lions are now calling the black uniforms this week Black Ice. Interesting choice. I mean, it kind of makes sense too, since, the Minnesota whiteout. I can live with that. But yeah, go get this win on Netflix. Yeah, first time the Lions will ever play on Netflix. Netflix and chill gonna have a whole different kind of meaning in the 3-1-3 Thursday afternoon. But anyway, get this win on Christmas. And all I say is Merry Christmas to everybody. And let's make sure we tell Minnesota Merry all season and Happy Christmas on the way out of US Bank Stadium. Go get this win. Get to 9-4, and whatever happens between Green Bay and Baltimore happens, Like this week, like that game's either going to decide if Detroit will have one more shot entering Week 18 next week, or if Detroit is just going to play spoiler on the Bears' NFC hopes next week. Anyway, let's go get this win, and let's go get it done next week. Let's go get it against the Vikings. And hope a little luck comes our way. Honestly, being in a position where you have to root on outside help is the worst position to be in. But even despite that, it will always be, go Lions.